Nearly 100% of Mercy Hospital workers have been vaccinated against COVID-19. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with why Mercy officials are saying that this benefits not only their patients, but the entire Joplin community.
Before leaving for Europe, President Biden made a stop on Capitol Hill to urge Democrats to pass his social spending plan. Some say his presidency hangs in the balance. But will Congress even take a vote tonight? I'm Mather Rivera in Washington with the latest details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. A Baxter Springs, Kansas man convicted of killing a woman and setting 2 police officers on fire gets prison time. Harvey Ortberg pled guilty in Cherokee County Court to first-degree murder charges, and today he was sentenced to life in prison for the crimes. In his plea, Ortberg admitted to a 2017 attack in which he killed a 65-year-old woman and set her on fire. He also attacked responding officers and set them on fire. Well, Halloween is this weekend, so the kiddos are going to be going door to door, trick-or-treating. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office, though, wants to make sure parents know where sex offenders live so they can avoid those homes. Authorities say 350 registered sex offenders live in Jasper County. The Sheriff's Office features a thing on their website to see where they all live.
We'll be out on Halloween Day doing sex offender compliance checks, which just basically means we're going to be checking on the ones that are required to have their lights off and their signs in the window that says no candy at this residence, and they have to be home. We're just going to ensure in person that they are indeed there and that they're abiding by the laws.
Authorities say you can also sign up for notifications when a sex offender moves into your neighborhood. Well, today is National First Responders Day, and Academy Sports and Outdoors wanted to say thanks. So the company donated $3,000 to the Joplin Fire Department. That money came in the form of an Academy gift card so the department can fund community initiatives like their upcoming holiday donation drive.
It's an amazing opportunity to be a part of something like that. I mean, when you join the fire service, you realize that you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And this is just an extension of that. It's great to be a part of that, great to work with amazing people. The community has been very supportive for so many years, even through the hard times.
Academy is also offering military members and first responders a 10% off purchases deal until November 14th. Mercy Hospital announces that nearly 100% of its staff are now vaccinated against COVID-19. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with a Mercy official, also a patient, about this milestone for the hospital.
Mercy Hospital is celebrating what they are calling a commitment to the health and well-being of their patients.
Between Carthage, Joplin, Columbus, and Galena too as well. And as far as our vaccination right now, we're roughly 99% or so fully vaccinated as a hospital with all our coworkers.
Mercy Hospital says aside from employees with a religious or medical exemption, all of their staff is vaccinated against COVID-19. On October 1st, hospital officials announced that any still unvaccinated had an extra 28 days to either get the vaccine or have an approved religious or medical exemption. After that,
they are terminated after the 28-day period to try to get, obviously, any last-minute folks vaccinated.
This new information has some Mercy patients feeling more comfortable with their care.
It is comforting to know.
According to Mercy Joplin's vice president, this requirement hasn't had any negative effects on their healthcare system.
We've had no interruption or disruption in our services as it relates to the hospital. All our hospital services are running at full capacity right now.
That comes from planning ahead of the vaccine requirement taking full effect.
We put together processes and intermittent staffing plans to be able to manage the hospital and keep the hospital running at full speed.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KUAM News.
Mercy Joplin Hospital hasn't said how many employees might have resigned or been dismissed for failing to comply with the mandate, but did say that their operations still running smoothly. Missouri Governor Parson issues an executive order that he says protects the rights of Missourians against federal COVID-19 vaccine mandates. The order requires all executive branch boards, agencies, and commissions to cooperate fully with the Attorney General's litigation on behalf of Missouri against any federally imposed COVID-19 vaccine mandate or requirement. He prevents those same entities from enforcing mandates against employees who object for religious or medical reasons, and it prevents punishment against those same unvaccinated people. If you are immunocompromised and got the Pfizer or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, the feds want you to roll up your sleeves for a fourth time. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has more now from Atlanta.
Millions of Americans are now eligible for a fourth COVID vaccine shot. The CDC quietly changing its guidelines, saying if you're immunocompromised, you need 3 doses for Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines to be fully effective, meaning the fourth shot would count as the booster. The change comes amid a major push to get Americans to roll up their sleeves again, with officials saying boosters are a big part of containing the outbreak.
And we're working with states, pharmacies, and other partners to quickly, efficiently, and equitably get boosters to tens of millions of eligible Americans.
But as the push for vaccination intensifies, there is also a growing legal backlash, including a new lawsuit filed Thursday by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, taking aim at vaccine mandates for federal workers and contractors, saying they, quote, interfere with Florida's employment policies.
In the state of Florida, you have a right to earn a living, and it should not be denied to you based on these shots.
And in New York City, a judge rejected requests by police and fire officials to block vaccine requirements from taking effect on Friday, despite the fact that more than 40% of firefighters in the city remain unvaccinated.
You're going to see response times climb. It is inevitable. Lives are going to be lost. That is irrefutable.
House Republicans have also introduced legislation to block an upcoming vaccine mandate for businesses with more than 100 workers. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
An inexpensive drug, often prescribed to treat mental health conditions, can also be used to help COVID-19 patients. New research at McMaster University in Canada found the drug fluvoxamine cut hospital admissions for COVID up to 30%. Doctors say this finding can be especially significant in areas where vaccination rates are low. President Biden trying to rally Democrats behind a proposed framework for their social spending plan, hoping to unlock progressive votes for the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But many progressives are holding back their support for the infrastructure bill until the larger package is passed. Fox's Madeline Rivera is in D.C. with their efforts to reach a deal as the president kicks off a major foreign trip to Europe.
I know we have a historic economic framework.
President Biden hailing his $1.75 trillion Build Back Better framework, even as major divisions remain between moderate and progressive Democrats. Before leaving for Europe, he met with lawmakers on Capitol Hill, urging them to reach a compromise with his presidency on the line.
No one got everything they wanted, including me. But that's what compromise is.
The framework includes investments in universal preschool, childcare, and $555 billion to address climate change. Funding includes a 15% corporate minimum tax rate and a stock buybacks tax.
The text is up for review, for consideration.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is doing everything she can to unite Democrats, but progressives are upset at how much has been cut and are still worried moderate Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema could balk.
Members of the House, in my view, are going to have to open their shirts.
Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, chair of the Progressive Caucus, still insists that votes on the infrastructure and social spending bills need to happen in tandem.
House Democrats tonight delayed a vote on the Senate-passed infrastructure bill. It's unclear when that vote is going to happen. It will not be this week, however. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Tom Walker served in the Army stationed in Germany. And we are proud to thank and salute Corporal Tom Walker, a native of Oswego, Kansas. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Hady's next with a complete look at the forecast. And a bit later, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas returning home this weekend to face Central Oklahoma. Going to hear from the Gorillas in sports.
Well, it's definitely turned out to be another crummy day for us today. Temperatures cold, more rain. We're getting kind of used to it after all the rain we had last Friday, Saturday, and then again over the past couple days. Very evident on our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort time lapse. Haven't seen the sun in a few days. I'm hoping we get a little bit of sunshine late in the day for Friday and especially for the weekend. All right, great shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Still raining. We still have light showers, just periods of showers. Heaviest now on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. But again, these are light, but these are going to continue as we go through the overnight hours tonight. In fact, I'll zoom into the metro and you can see these spotty light showers and drizzle. So if you are going to be out on the roadways tonight, be careful. Also, look at the rainfall amount. So anywhere you see yellow, we're talking 3 inches. On average, most of us have had 2 to 4 inches of rain from this last storm system, which is kind of crazy, but it's finally starting to wind down just a bit. It's chilly, mid 40s to near 50 once you get out across southeastern Kansas. We're going to hold fairly steady the rest of the night. It's also been windy. We've had these northwesterly winds at about 10 to 20 all day long. Gusts higher than that, near 30 miles per hour. It's going to stay breezy tonight. It's going to stay breezy once again as we go into Friday as well. It's wet. Roads are wet. Currently outside, sitting at 46. Northwesterly winds at about 15. Humidity, of course, high, 93%. But we're on the backside of this storm system, so it's wrapping up the main upper level low now in southeastern parts of Missouri. When this returns in the pattern, in my pattern, about a week before Christmas, this should be a snow system, so we're going to have to watch that as it comes back around in December. Let's go through tonight. On and off light showers. We'll stop at 2:30 in the morning. Let's go into the morning hours, still on and off light showers. During the morning, the rain starts to taper off, so here's the noon hour. And I think by the afternoon, we're really going to start to dry out, but we're going to be mostly cloudy most of the day unless you live on the Kansas or Oklahoma side. You'll get a little bit of sunshine. 46 to start, cloudy, sprinkles by noon, 50. High temp only up to about 55 during the afternoon. We all clear out tomorrow night, so it's going to be fine for high school football. By Saturday, we drop back near 40, so a chilly start, but Saturday is going to be great. We warm into the mid-60s, and we're going to have plenty of sunshine, which is great to see. By the time we head into Saturday night and Sunday morning, another cold front's going to roll in. It's not going to be extremely strong, but it'll knock our temperatures down just a little bit by the time we head into early next week. But all in all, it's looking better by the time we head into the weekend. This system's almost done, so I would say an additional 1/10, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain, and that should be about it. 55 tomorrow, look at the weekend, 64 Saturday, Halloween, not bad. 63, rain chances back in early next week. Jordan?
Doug, thank you. Coming up, a Q&A session some call partisan theater.
Lawmakers question the heads of several of the world's largest oil makers about climate change. I'm Caroline Shively. I'll have details straight ahead.
Well, a new study shows the death rate from Parkinson's disease has risen more than 60% over the last 2 decades in the U.S., with mortality twice as high among men. Researchers believe women fare better because higher levels of estrogen, estrogen offer protection from developing Parkinson's. Top executives from several of the world's biggest oil companies sat in the hot seat on Capitol Hill today. Lawmakers grilling the group on climate change, even as Republicans called the hearing partisan theater. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively has the latest on their testimony.
For far too long, big oil has escaped accountability for its central role in bringing our planet to the brink of a climate catastrophe. That ends today.
For the first time, the heads of several major oil companies answered to lawmakers on Capitol Hill, who accused them of a decades-long cover-up of their industry's impact on climate change.
Do you agree that burning fossil fuels is a significant cause of climate change?
Chairwoman, we've been clear on where we stand, and we accept the scientific consensus that the use of fossil fuels contributes to climate change.
Republicans called the hearing a distraction from the Biden administration's political problems and took aim at the administration's canceling of the Keystone oil pipeline, particularly as gas prices remain on the rise.
The purpose of this hearing is clear: to deliver partisan theater for primetime news.
Still, each of the executives stated they support global action to address climate challenges, including the Paris Accord, saying the oil and gas industry is committed to evolve.
We know that the world's carbon budget is finite.
We believe the future of energy is lower carbon, and we're committed to being a leader in making that future a reality.
As the oil executives were testifying, President Biden was pushing his social spending bill, calling it the largest effort to combat climate change in American history. Caroline Shively, Fox News.
All right, next, making sure everyone and everything has a great, fun time this weekend.
Halloween is for the dogs, literally. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with a look at how some adorable canines and other animals are celebrating this spooky season coming up.
Halloween just around the corner, but people aren't the only ones going wild for the spooky holiday. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer has a look at how some adorable animals are celebrating, plus tips for pet parents about how to keep their furry friends safe.
Halloween is just as much for pets as it is for people. The National Retail Federation says shoppers will spend $680 million on pet costumes this year alone. And in the Big Apple, hundreds of dogs are putting those get-ups to good use during the 31st annual Tompkins Square Halloween Dog Parade.
I'm Allison, or better known as Lydia Dietz, and this is my sweet little English bulldog. He's a love bug.
But if you're planning a costume for your pet, the ASPCA recommends doing it safely. The organization says outfits can cause animals unnecessary stress, adding make sure costumes don't restrict your pet's movement or breathing, and that there's no loose pieces they can choke on.
Happy Halloween!
Meanwhile, over in South Korea, the hit Netflix show Squid Game is serving as an inspiration for this Halloween dog treat cooking class, where characters and challenges from the series are being gobbled up.
It's so much fun, and seems like he loves it too. Do you want more?
But it's not just pets getting to have all the fun. Exotic animals at England's Chester Zoo are digging into their goodies. Staff filled pumpkins with fruit and fish for meerkats, Komodo dragons, pythons, and more. And back in the States, pumpkins weighing several hundred pounds are serving as piñatas for the Oregon Zoo's elephants. If you are looking for a last-minute costume for your pet, the National Retail Federation found the most popular ones include a pumpkin, hot dog, superhero, or bumblebee. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
How about that? All right, coming up, why some scientists say chances are the taste of coffee is going to go downhill. Climate change has reportedly already started to wreak havoc on coffee bean production, but a new study suggests even the coffee that's hard to come by might not taste as good due to the climate crisis. Researchers found two major factors linked with coffee quality: high altitude and limited sunlight. Beans grown at higher elevations prosper because of the cooler temperatures, something that might be hard to come by if the earth continues to heat up. On the other hand, experts believe they can work around protecting crops from too much sun exposure. Researchers hope the study is going to highlight the importance in slowing the process of climate change for the sake of a good cup of coffee. Just, if not that one reason. So if you see a news story in the future about people becoming more cranky, it's connected to this. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
On a national level, meat prices have gone up quite a bit in the last year. But what are local sellers and processors seeing? One Webb City-based business shares its perspective coming up.
Also going to meet a high school student helping collect Halloween costumes for people in need. So many of us would agree there's no shortage of things that have gotten more expensive during the last year, and meat is no exception. But one local meat processor and seller says their price increases have been less drastic when compared to popular grocery stores. KON's Mike Mahoney spoke to management at S&J Processing, also the Old Hickory Smokehouse, to learn more.
According to the most recent Consumer Price Index posted by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the price of beef has risen 17.6% during the last year. And while prices have also gone up at Webb City's S&J Processing and Joplin's Old Hickory Smokehouse, which are both owned by the same family, management says their increases are nothing compared to what the national grocery chains are seeing.
Definitely went up a little bit. We've dealt with the shipping issues and stuff like that everybody has. But for the most part, we teamed up with Show Me Beef, which is local raised farms, and they've done a pretty good job of keeping their prices even. So we've actually been able just this week to lower a lot of our prices.
S&J Processing Manager Zach Carey says dealing with local suppliers and having a more intimate knowledge of the needs of their customers has helped them keep prices relatively stable.
On a local level, we're able to adjust how much we sell and
how much we can get in, and we can develop relationships with our customers so that we kind of know how much is going to be purchased.
These meat sellers may have been able to exert more control over their prices by dealing with local livestock and cutting out the middleman, but S&J is still trying to overcome a backlog of meat to be processed due to shortages caused by the pandemic.
So we've gone down to about 6 months, but it is still a much longer waiting list than normal before the pandemic.
In Webb City and Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
According to the USDA Economic Research Service, wholesale beef prices could rise as much as 20% by the end of the year. Quapaw Nation leaders today commemorated the Supreme Court's McGirt ruling that they say affirmed what tribal leaders have always known. The Quapaw Nation reservation has remained intact as Indian country for nearly 200 years. The Supreme Court's McGirt ruling found that Oklahoma has no jurisdiction over crimes committed by or against Native Americans on tribal reservations.
The shift in criminal jurisdiction, the shockwave was felt, immediately after McGirt. And so there have been experiences and challenges that have been met and overcome, not just with tribal nations addressing these challenges, but the counterparts at the federal level as well.
After today's news conference commemorating the ruling, tribal leaders also highlighted improvements it's made to courts and criminal justice system. Tribal leaders gave a tour of the Quijota Center. It serves the Quapaw Nation and other tribal citizens in resolving civil and criminal matters. The tribe used federal grants to open the $4 million Quijota Center less than 2 years ago. Kids in Joplin got some early Halloween candy. Joplin High School Student Council hosted a trunk or treat event. It's designed to give those young kiddos in the community a chance to show off their Halloween costumes, also just get some good candy. There are several other similar events going on across 4 states, and you can find a list of them on our website, koamnewsnow.com. An area high school student is making sure all elementary students have costumes for Halloween. Jasmine Duncan is a senior at McDonald County High School. She wanted to help younger kids this Halloween who don't have or can't afford a costume. So she gathered costume donations and gave them to elementary students.
The feedback, the smiles that I get out of it, it makes me happy to help others, to make other people's day better. And I know how it is to struggle, It is, my mom's always stressed that on me, to show others kindness, You want to have a good day, so everybody else needs a good day. It doesn't hurt to help a little.
The project is part of Jasmine's A+ requirements, which will give her 2 free years of school over at Crowder College. Good job, Jasmine. Get ready for sticker shock this winter if you use natural gas to heat that home. The Energy Information Administration says U.S. households that rely on natural gas for heating will spend an average of $746 to heat those homes up this winter, up 30% from last winter. Of course, how much you pay also depends on how much you use. Analysts say a cold winter could result in those prices doubling from where they are today. Hard liquor is coming back to domestic flights on United Airlines. The carrier is planning to begin selling mini bottles of booze on economy flights at least 301 miles in length on November 15th. United Economy passengers have only been able to buy wine and beer for a year now. American and Southwest Airlines do not plan to bring back alcohol sales until at least January. That's when the federal mask mandate is currently expected to end. Mandatory masking is linked to passenger disruptions, which are thought to worsen when alcohol is involved. People in Southwest Louisiana cleaning up after yet another storm. An EF2 tornado tore through the area yesterday, causing significant damage to several homes. Fox Weather's Robert Ray has more.
The cleanup is underway in Louisiana after severe weather rolled through the region. A tornado caused significant structural damage to about a dozen homes here in Lake Charles and minor damage to others. It carried winds as high as 130 miles an hour, tearing the roof off this home and sending debris flying.
This is a difficult time for our state, no doubt.
Much of this area is recovering from back-to-back disasters in recent years. Some residents just finished rebuilding after Hurricane Laura last year, and now they'll have to start again. Governor John Bell Edwards says enough is enough.
And the people are resilient, and they're very generous and hardworking, faithful people, but that's enough to test anybody. And so my heart breaks anytime we see this sort of damage anywhere.
It's a similar situation in southeast Texas. A tornado with 120-mile-an-hour winds rolled through Harris County, north of Houston. Strong gusts knocked over power lines and sent this tree crashing through the roof of a home.
Down the road, they got a few trees down here, and then coming over here down in our little neighborhood, they had a couple trees, nothing like this. I mean, this is not even the tree, this is a limb.
And in the Northeast, the cleanup continues following a bomb cyclone. Utility crews out in the New England area are working to restore power to the 500,000 who lost electricity. The storm system that damaged homes here in the south will have impact up in the Northeast this Friday. In Lake Charles, Louisiana, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Well, a bit later, the ongoing investigation into a shooting on a movie set.
New details have emerged in the shooting death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. I'm Jonathan Hunt in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'll have the details coming up.
Well, it's definitely turned out to be another crummy day for us today. Temperatures cold, more rain. We're getting kind of used to it after all the rain we had last Friday, Saturday, and then again over the past couple days. Very evident on our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort time lapse. Haven't seen the sun in a few days. I'm hoping we get a little bit of sunshine late in the day for Friday and especially for the weekend. All right, great shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Still raining. We still have light showers. Just periods of showers, heaviest now on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. But again, these are light, but these are going to continue as we go through the overnight hours tonight. In fact, I'll zoom into the metro and you can see these spotty light showers and drizzle. So if you are going to be out on the roadways tonight, be careful. Also, look at the rainfall amount. So anywhere you see yellow, we're talking 3 inches on average. Most of us have had 2 to 4 inches of rain from this last storm system, which is kind of crazy, but it's finally starting to wind down just a bit. It's chilly, mid 40s to near 50 once you get out across southeastern Kansas. We're going to hold fairly steady the rest of the night. It's also been windy. We've had these northwesterly winds at about 10 to 20 all day long. Gusts higher than that, near 30 miles per hour. It's going to stay breezy tonight. It's going to stay breezy once again as we go into Friday as well. It's wet. Roads are wet. Currently outside, sitting at 46. Northwesterly winds at about 15. Humidity, of course, high, 93%. But we're on the backside of this storm system, so it's wrapping up the main upper level low now in southeastern parts of Missouri. When this returns in the pattern, in my pattern, about a week before Christmas, this should be a snow system, so we're going to have to watch that as it comes back around in December. Let's go through tonight. On and off light showers. We'll stop at 2:30 in the morning. Let's go into the morning hours, still on and off light showers. During the morning, the rain starts to taper off. So here's the noon hour. And I think by the afternoon, we're really going to start to dry out, but we're going to be mostly cloudy most of the day unless you live on the Kansas or Oklahoma side. You'll get a little bit of sunshine. 46 to start, cloudy, sprinkles by noon, 50. High temp only up to about 55 during the afternoon. We all clear out tomorrow night, so it's going to be fine for high school football. By Saturday, we drop back near 40, so a chilly start, but Saturday is going to be great. We warm into the mid-60s, and we're going to have plenty of sunshine, which is great to see. By the time we head into Saturday night and Sunday morning, another cold front's going to roll in. It's not going to be extremely strong, but it'll knock our temperatures down just a little bit by the time we head into early next week. But all in all, it's looking better by the time we head into the weekend. This system's almost done, so I would say an additional 1/10, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain, and that should be about it. 55 tomorrow, look at the weekend, 64 Saturday, Halloween, not bad. 63, rain chances back in early next week. Jordan?
Thanks again. Coming up in sports, going to hear from the Pittsburgh St. Gorillas ahead of Saturday's game against Central Oklahoma. Also, high school football playoffs begin tonight in Southeast Kansas. Jacob Leonard has highlights from Colgan and Riverton next. Families of the victims of the 2015 shooting at a black church in Charleston, South Carolina, reached a settlement with the Justice Department. An investigation found Dylan Roof's drug arrest a few months prior to the attack should have prevented him from buying a gun. However, errors were made during the background check. The agreement includes $63 million for the families of those killed and $25 million for survivors, totaling $88 billion. The investigation into the death of a cinematographer on the set of the Alec Baldwin film Rust is intensifying. Fox News Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt has more from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
I'd be careful using the word accident. Right now, it's a criminal investigation, and we obviously will be working close with the district attorney.
The sheriff of Santa Fe County, New Mexico, mincing no words as he ramps up the investigation into what happened the day Alec Baldwin shot and killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Authorities are looking into why live ammunition was even on the set of the film Rust, and investigators say interviews are ongoing.
It's still an active investigation, and we're still gathering statements and facts, so nobody's been ruled out as a suspect in this case.
This comes after a new affidavit shows the film's assistant director, Dave Halls, admitted he did not check the revolver he handed over to Baldwin thoroughly. Halls told authorities on that day he could only remember seeing 3 rounds in the chamber. The gun used in the shooting has since been seized, and officers have recovered 600 pieces of evidence, including 3 firearms and 500 rounds of ammunition. A live round was also recovered from the shoulder of director Joel Souza, who was also shot during the frantic scene. The investigation is now focusing on 3 people: Baldwin, Halls, and the armorer on the set, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Officials say criminal charges could be filed once the investigation wraps up. Alec Baldwin and the film's producers have hired a private law firm to conduct their own probe into the shooting. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
Next, going to check out a new series focusing on the lives of youth basketball players.